My girlfriend just bought this wrecked Land Rover Defender and she thinks she can rebuild it.
I will.
After 5 years of watching me rebuild cars, Hannah's finally decided to give one a go herself. You want to do it?
I want to do it.
And she shows this, the new Land Rover Defender, which at first she thought was quite minimal damage. Chassis damage.
Oh no.
But it turned out to be hiding a lot more than she originally thought.
Oh.
But as she bought this car blind from an online auction, there's always that risk involved. And now she's committed to rebuilding this car with hopes that she's got herself a bargain.
I found it. I bought it.
We're hoping, well you're hoping that it's not too big of a repair.
No.
What's happened here then?
Oh, fixed it.
First fix, and I did that. I'll invoice you for that one.
Oh my god.
Look, we've got dents on this side though. Dent here, dent here.
Is this missing an arch as well, like a wide arch?
Oh yeah, we're missing. Is that what we're missing? So this is a standard Land Rover Defender, how they leave the factory. But the one that Hannah's bought has, or did have, an urban kit fitted to it, which should look like this. But the problem we're going to have, it looks like some of the urban parts are missing or damaged, which means we're going to have to buy them as well to fix this one. So basically we were missing an urban arch here, so we're probably going to have to bring urban to see if we can get that. And it looks like the same is missing from the right hand side. Oh, I think there's something missing out of here as well. Definitely something missing out of here.
It's all got like hair and like sticky stuff.
Oh, it's been used in here, isn't it? Very well.
Yeah, but this is what these cars are for. It's like a workhorse.
That's true.
We've not quite got to all the damage yet, but one thing we want to make sure is that the engine runs. This is the 3-litre diesel one. It's one of them cars as well, where you can't check the oil.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, has it got a dipstick?
Yeah.
They did something good.
Yes.
Oh.
Right.
Dipstick.
Oh, it's got oil in it. Good news there. We should be good to start it. Do you want to start it up and see if it starts? The battery is dead, so Hannah had to put the jumper pack on, and then we could give it a start. Okay, go and see. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh,
First time.
smooth. Very smooth. That runs well smooth.
This is a cruiser.
How many miles?
62,000.
Ooh.
And for a 2021 Defender, with that sort of mileage, you're looking at over £60,000. So far, things were looking good for Hannah. No engine light. So far, so good. It's a proper farmer's car, isn't it? The dashboard was clear of faults, and it was looking like an easy fix. That was until we started looking into the wheel arch. Chassis damage.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What, bad?
Oh, you're going to have your hands full
In
now.
there. The chassis behind the front wheel looks like it's taken a really big hit. So maybe this wasn't going to turn out as easy as Hannah first thought. But there was no point in us trying to see the damage whilst it was on the trailer here. So we needed to get it inside the unit so we could lift it up in the ramp to inspect that damage further.
I've never put a car in the ramp before, so I just feel like it'll fall on me.
After all, this car is a Category S, which stands for structural damage, and I think we've just found it. What has happened, the wheel's gone back and hit the frame of the car, like that Merc did.
That's insane. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. But it's good that the wheel's broken, because if the wheel didn't break, it would have broke something else. If the wheel was really strong, then it would have broke more of the chassis.
I mean, it's a massive wheel as well.
Now, we need to inspect the damage. You can never truly see how much damage an accident has caused until you start stripping the parts around the damage. And that's exactly what we're doing now. Out comes the arch lining, that'll need replacing, and then we can just take a look at the chassis damage inside the wheel arch. It's still pretty hard to see exactly how bad it is. Your job, get the suspension off and the brakes.
You can be the tool boy.
Thank you.
Oh, that's the death bolt.
More of the suspension is being taken off. Hannah's removing the brake caliper, and her and my dad were going to tie it up on the shock absorber until they realised they were going to be removing that later. So instead, they clamp the rubber hose to stop the brake fluid leak when they unbolt the brake line from the actual caliper so they can move it away from the car. But it still looked like the brake fluid leaked everywhere.
I thought you were making it better.
Next up is the brake disc. There's only one bolt which holds this to the wheel hub. Then, off it comes.
Right.
We think it's more than likely that this is going to be bent because it's had a big hit and it's aluminium. So we're going to replace that. But also, check this out. This part of the subframe has broken away, which is going to be another big job. But to get to it all, we've got to remove all of this. First up, the drive shaft. This huge nut here is coming off, which holds it to the wheel hub. My dad loosely screwed it back on so then Hannah can hit the drive shaft without damaging the threads on the end. Then it should pop out the wheel hub. The only thing holding the wheel hub to the rest of the car now is one lower arm. Hannah undoes that nut there. Then the wheel hub can be lifted off. That will definitely need replacing.
Bolt boy.
Then the anti-roll bar drop link can be disconnected from the shock absorber and the shock absorber unbolted from the lower arm and from the subframe as well.
There she goes.
What are we doing now, Hannah?
Got to disconnect 2 wires and then there's 4 bolts.
And once they're undone, the whole shock absorber should be able to be removed. Now this big heavy car is on air suspension, and this part here which Hannah's undoing is the air line which goes into the suspension. Once she's disconnected that, there's then 4 nuts which are holding the shock absorber on.
You're enjoying yourself, Hannah?
A great time. I feel like I am really competent with this stuff. Yes, I am slower, but I don't do this every day.
And so far, so good. Don't drop the nut.
Too late.
Out that comes. And to be honest, this damper doesn't look too bad, and they are expensive. But there's some parts we won't get away without replacing. On to the next step.
Up in the air, under trays off, disconnect this side off the subframe without actually disconnecting too much.
The goal is to get the subframe off now, because there's some bad damage to it on that right hand side, and we're not going to be able to fix it. But there's a lot of things which connect to that subframe. You can see the damage here. First thing to disconnect are all the arms which are on the left hand side, which are going from the hub to the subframe. Then this part of the front bumper comes off. After that, Hannah's removing the front wheel so she can remove the front arch lining on the left hand side, because once you get this out of the way, you can then take the bolt out for the arm. That's the suspension disconnected on the left hand side. Now my dad's disconnecting the steering rack from the steering column, because the steering rack's actually going to come down with the subframe. And last but not least, the drive shaft. Hannah's just pulled this out of the front differential. Now we can go back to the top of the engine. We need to support it. Okay, what we need to do now is hold the engine up here so then the subframe can go down. And to do that, we're going to be using the engine support bar. This goes across the engine onto the structure on each side, and then a strap will hold the engine up. Right, that is holding the engine upwards now. All we're going to do is disconnect the engine mounts on the subframe, and then the subframe should be able to come down, leaving the engine in the car. What we don't want to happen is the engine come down with the subframe, then we're in big trouble. Now, to disconnect the engine from the subframe, which is connected with the engine mounts. And there's 4 bolts on the engine mounts on each side. There's only 2 engine mounts though. I'm just squeezing my hand in now to undo those bolts. And finally, we need to make it clear so the subframe can come down without damaging any part of the car. And once we're happy with it, we're lowering the subframe down and we can unbolt it. All the bolts are removed from the subframe, just making sure everything's disconnected from the subframe to the car, and we should be able to lower the subframe down. And we're really hoping that our bar on the top holds the engine, else the engine is going to come out with the subframe, which wouldn't be good. And with all the bolts disconnected from the subframe, it lowered down onto the jack, and once we was happy with it, my dad lifted the car up, which left the subframe onto the jack. All of that just because of that. So all of that had to be removed because of that. You can see the bad side looks like this, and it's supposed to look like that. Okay, next job, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this wing off because it has, I think, gone backwards, and also it's just going to give us a little bit better access to all this, and then we can see if there's any more damage behind here, because this isn't looking good. To take the wing off, there's a few bolts under here, a few bolts in there, but we do have to get this part off so we can access the 2 bolts behind there. Let's go. This should also give us a lot better access to the structural damage that's underneath the wing as well. First off, the front grille. Then, the headlights around. This car's coming apart quite easily. Then, all the bolts for the wing on top, and whilst I'm doing that, Liam's doing the bolts which connect the wing to the front bumper. And that's about everything done at the front there. We've just got to go inside the wing, remove the washer bottle, and there's 2 more bolts which hold the wing to the chassis. Then, off it comes. I can finally remove the washer bottle and the lower half of the wing. And now we can really get an idea of how bad this structural damage actually is. We're hoping we can fix it ourselves. Here we go, second-hand subframe off eBay, £679 second-hand this was. I hope it's the same, because Hannah, you've got to swap everything off that onto this one. Here's the tricky thing about repairing this car. At the minute, Jaguar Land Rover are undergoing a cyber attack, so we're not able to order any brand new parts run from Jaguar Land Rover. So everything we buy for this car has to be second hand. But luckily, a lot of the stuff's available. At the minute, Hannah's transferring over the anti-roll bar off the old subframe to the new one, and also the steering rack as well. Once that's all been transferred over, we're going to put it back onto the jack, push it underneath the car, and then install it the same way that we removed it, by lowering the car onto the subframe, and once it's low enough, we're going to slide the bolts in to hold it to the chassis. And then all of us can tighten it back up. Once it's secure, the car can go back in the air. Good news! The subframe is in the car, but the engine is still hanging by the straps. So, what we've got to do now is make sure the subframe is fully bolted to the chassis of the car, and then also make sure to getting the engine to the subframe, we've got to connect up this engine mount to the subframe. But that's going to be a bit easier once the subframe is all snug up. Then we can make sure all of these plugs are in, back into the steering rack, and everything's connected up under here. So I guess let's start doing up the bolts, then we'll worry about this big damage here, which I don't think you expected, did you, Hannah? No, but I think we can do it. Okay, so we was just able to get the bolts in for the engine mounts to connect it to the subframe.
Tight.
Once we're happy that's all secure, down comes the car and we can take off the engine brace.
Yay! How can you get excited over that?
Now the engine is supported by our new subframe, and the car can go back in the air, so we can start our next job. Next step, drive shaft. 3, 2, 1. We're replacing this drive shaft because there's a split in the boot in the old one, and we don't know how long that boot was split for. So the actual joint could be all worn, so we're not taking any risks, and we've got a second-hand drive shaft. And Hannah slid it into the differential, and now putting the bolt in the wheel hub. After that, the bolts can go in all the lower arms on the left-hand side of the car. Nothing else on this left-hand side was damaged, we think. And even Kevin agrees. Few more bolts in on the lower arms, and that's job done on the left. Suspension is back in and all good on this side. So on this side, we're gonna not carry on because we've obviously got this, but we can't proceed with that yet. One problem, and it seems to be a common problem on all Defenders, this side light is out. It's got nothing to do with the accident, but we think we've found the solution to it. It's not a bulb, it's a module. And the way you have to repair this problem is bizarre. For such a common problem, they made it very difficult to repair.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Nutrition.
Oh. To repair it, we've got to take off this surround and then we've got to remove the whole headlight.
Yay! This is absolutely stupid, to be fair, because you can't get to the module from the back, and it's not that. That does the headlight. The side lights is done by a module in there, so we've got to take off the lens from the plastic.
Which means the headlight is going in the oven. Exactly what we got the oven for in the unit. Once we've left it to cook, it comes out of the oven. For some reason, Kevin tried to get in the boot, but whilst all the plastic and the glue which holds the headlight together was nice and soft because it was in the oven, me and Hannah could start splitting the lens from the backing of the headlight. And there it is.
That was actually really good. If you're gonna do that, do put it in the oven. 130 degrees Celsius for 7 minutes.
Now it doesn't end there. We've now got to unbolt the front of this headlight to access the part we need to get to.
Out it comes, and there's a plug on the back.
We learnt this from watching YouTube.
There we go. The LED is there.
All it is 3 little LEDs which shoot down a little light bar for that side light. And apparently they just burn out. And this is the part that you need to buy to fix it. £25 off eBay. So we're unbolting the old one here.
That's the old one.
And here's the new one. I assume we just put it back in place and it's all gonna work. Gone are the days of just replacing a bulb when your side light goes out. But I guess we're starting to get used to all of this new car jargon. After it's installed, we can reassemble it all.
Right, let's test to see if it works, because all that does is control that one. And this one has a separate module. And that did work, but then it didn't work for bits. So, let's see. Excuse me, what?
Before we put the lens back on the headlight, we're gonna plug it in and just make sure it works. And good news.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, boy. Put side lights, just side lights. Yes. Oh, it moved. Fix it, do you want to come and have a look? £20 fix at an oven, well £25 fix. Look at that.
Hey, oh my god, they look so cool.
Now we know they work, I'm going to clean up the residue of the glue that was holding the lens to the backing before, and once I'm happy with that, we can apply our own glue. Then slide the lens back into place and leave it to set. It's vital it's sealed properly because we could get water in there if it's not. Then we can slide it back into the car and reinstall everything the same way we took it out.
Here it is. The structure has arrived. We had to buy this second hand again because we can't get anything new from Jaguar Land Rover. So we've got a cut off of a whole car, which is going to make it very time consuming, but at least we've got probably more parts than what we need. £1,100. Look at that.
So this is the mess that we've got at the minute. Now there's some parts of this damage which we're probably not going to touch because it would just be purely cosmetic, but the more serious parts we definitely need to fix. And although this part here that we're changing isn't very structural, it just holds the wing on, we need to make sure that it's straight, or else when we put the wing on, it won't line up correctly with the door. So the first step is to drill out the rivets that are holding this bracket to the car. And for some rivets, Hannah's grinding off the top of them and then using the chisel just to pop it away from the car.
Yeah.
Then we have this damage here, the part I'm most worried about. This middle piece is part of the structure and it's sort of strengthening that part of the car. And it's all held in with rivets because all of this car is aluminium. So whilst I work at getting it off the car, my dad's working at getting it off the piece that we bought. And he's got to be super careful not to damage it because we're going to be installing it back onto the Defender. And eventually, we got off the damaged part. And luckily there's no damage underneath.
So this structural bit in the middle is off here, but I think this has been pushed in because you can see where these used to sit from the rivets there. Now, to avoid taking out this whole panel, it would be nice just to be able to pull this panel back. To see where it goes, really we could do with the new structural part to go in the middle, then we'll see how far off it is. But for any hope, I just want to see if we actually are able to pull it out, because this might just be really strong and we might just be fighting a lost cause. So I'm going to put this in. You can see here clearly how far out this panel is.
How's it going, Tony?
It's hot work.
Hot work?
Hot work, yeah.
Are you hot?
Yeah.
Now, if we're not able to pull this panel back out, we are going to have to replace the whole entire leg. But I think I've got a solution called a hustler's bar, where we had it mounted on something hard like that and then pulled against it, used all his weight. I think we should probably bring the car back down so we could do it, and then we're going to use a bit of heat to try and pull it, and we're going to use power, heat and power. If this works, it's going to save us so much time. But I was struggling to pull it hard enough to get it back into place. Go on. So we called Ethan in for a bit more muscle. Look at it, it's moving loads.
And eventually, with a bit of heat, the panel did start to go back to the place it originally was, until we got to a point we were happy with.
This is going to be the true test. This is like the structural part. This is the part that we want to get in. All these are all lined up. The rivet holes are all drilled out, ready to go in. But we need to make sure that this fits in its place.
Apart from that, it's pretty close up here, though,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
not far off.
Looks good up here. And these bolts line up nicely.
We could do with like drilling and putting a few rivets in. This whole car is literally held together with these rivets. All of these are rivets. They do look slightly different because when you buy a repair set, this is the type of rivet you get to repair it. But these are going to go into the holes. And that is now holding that chassis in. There's a few more to put in, this hole and this hole, but
it's looking good regarding the chassis leg, which is going to save us a huge job. As long as this part fits in the gap nicely, then we can be sure everything lines up as good as it was from new. And lucky for us, it was lining up well. I've now just got to drill out the holes and then put in the repair rivets which hold it to the body of the car, which is the exact same way it was held in before I took it off. And that is a job well done there. Next up, the bracket on the side which holds the wing on. This just slides into place and then a few rivets hold it on.
rivets are all in. Time to put the seam sealer over some of the joints. Let's go.
Time for the seam sealer. This type of repair we would have been really scared of about a year ago. But as we've gained more experience with the type of stuff, we've gained confidence as well. Once the sealer's on, and then applied a bit of paint to it as well, just to protect it all, and everything lined up great. So then I can move back to some of the more damaged parts.
That's out. So you have the steering rack, an inner tie rod, and a track rod end. That's broken, and it should look like this. £21 off eBay. Here is the inner tie rod.
I'm going to apply a bit of Loctite.
That's a lot of Loctite.
And then screw it into the steering rack, which has no signs of it being damaged. After that, the rubber boot goes over it. This slides on, and then we've got one of the special clips which holds it in place, which Hannah's going to clamp down now. Looking good. Then, another clamp which holds the smaller part. After that, we've got to go get the outer tie rod.
Yeah, mechanic, come out, yay!
And now Hannah's got to take it off the old inner tie rod. She's just unscrewing it here, and when she's got the outer tie rod off the old inner tie rod, she's going to measure the distance from the end of the inner tie rod to the locking bolt. Then it will give her a rough idea of where the adjustment should be on the new inner tie rod. The car will still need a four-wheel alignment, but at least you can get it close so it's actually drivable to the four-wheel alignment place.
Next thing, oh my god, this weighs a ton. £650 this was for a full thing because I didn't want to take any risks and buy everything separate there. Now, I think the disc is different And the caliper's definitely different because the caliper's way smaller compared to the one that you've got on. You could put the drive shaft in first before we put that in. I'll put this in. Drive shaft.
Once the drive shaft's in, I'm going to lift up the whole hub assembly with all the arms on it, and then Hannah's going to slide in the bolts which hold it to the new subframe, and then do the same for the top arm. Time to tighten up all the bolts which attach the lower arm to the subframe, then we can move on to the next job.
Shock absorber. We're reusing this one, hope it's going to be okay, because these are expensive.
The shock absorber, we're going to slide up between the top arm, then Hannah's going to go to the top of the car and put on the nuts to hold the shock absorber in place. Then Hannah's going to put in the bolt which holds the shock absorber to the lower arm. And finally, the anti-roll bar drop link has got to tie into that shock absorber as well. After that, the inner tie rod will connect to the wheel hub, and we're almost assembled. We're now going to be taking off the brake caliper which come with that wheel hub, because the one on Hannah's car was way bigger, and we assumed the brake disc was different as well. So we're taking the brake disc off which come with the wheel hub and putting back on the original one, which doesn't look damaged, just a little bit rusty. Once that brake disc's on, then Hannah can slide on her brake caliper, which, lucky for us, does fit the second-hand wheel hub. Once the brake caliper's on, I can then put in the brake line into the caliper.
Right, back in the day on the driveway, I used to be on the brake calipers and I used to shout to Hannah to pump the brakes. Roll reversal. I'm getting in the car this time and Hannah is going to bleed the brakes. Let's lower it down, put some brake fluid in, and we're going to have to bleed all four corners because there's so much air that's got in there. Let's hope this works.
First step, let's add the Valvoline brake fluid. We lost a lot of brake fluid when we took the caliper off, so it's going to need a full top up. Then, removing the wheels on all four corners.
The idea of the braking system is that you have no air in there because air is squishy like that. Trying to get all the air out of the system. Hannah's pouring in brake fluid, but at the minute there will be air in the lines because we've had them all off.
So whilst I pump the brake pedal, Hannah will go to the rear caliper, crack open the bleed nipple, and then wait for the air to come out until it's only brake fluid. And whilst she does that, I'm going to tell you how you can potentially get some money back from a previous car finance.
Now, did you know 4 in 10 car finance deals between the 6th of April 2007 to November 2024 could have been missold? Still a bit spongy, but we're getting there.
Now, the first part of mis-selling was the discretionary commission arrangements. This is where dealers secretly increase the interest rate to boost their own commission.
There was unfairly high commission. This is where commission was excessive compared to the loan amount.
Pump it.
And there was contractually tied arrangements. This is where dealers claim they're going to get the best deal for you, but they were actually tied to one lender.
Oh, look at all that air.
Now, to get your money back, you can complain directly to your lender, or go to the Financial Ombudsman, or wait for the FCA redress scheme, which is expected in 2026. Brake pedal feels good, nice and bled up. Next job is to just do a quick service on it because we know how fragile these Land Rover engines are.
So Hannah's got the car in the air and is now removing the sump plug to drain the oil out. Now, those options that I just mentioned about getting your money back are all free to do so. But listen to this.
When the scheme launches, lenders will contact the customers directly, but only ones that they can trace. If you've moved house, changed contact details, or your old records have been deleted, it can be hard to go alone.
Okay, we took the oil strainer out, replaced it with a tray so we can get to the oil filter at the top because it's at the top.
So now Hannah's going to be removing the oil filter, which is right here, and replacing it with a new one. Now, if you didn't fancy going alone on trying to claim your money back, you can use Reclaim 247.
They can trace your car finance history back to 2007. All you need is your name, address, and date of birth. It's no win, no free, no paperwork, and it takes less than 60 seconds to start your claim. Your old car finance deal could be hiding compensation. It's your money, claim it back with Reclaim 247.co.uk. What oil filter?
Let's get this service finished off. New oil filter goes into place, and then Hannah can pop back on the cap and tighten it back up. And you can see the old oil filter that this car was probably due a service. Next up, Hannah's removing this part of the air intake so she can access the air filter. But it looks okay, to be fair, but nevertheless we bought a service kit so the new air filter is going in place. That slides into the airbox here, put the intake back down and then bolt it all back together.
So we've done oil filter, air filter, time to put the sump bung back in and fill it with oil.
Back in the air the car goes, and Hannah's got a new sump bung with the service kit that she bought. That goes into the sump and then she can tighten that up and we're ready for oil.
0W30, 5 litres of Valvoline. Look at that, caramel syrup.
In goes the Valvoline oil. And it's always good practice really to service these crash damaged cars when you get them, because a lot of the time you have no idea of the history of them. Especially this one, which has done 60,000 miles.
Engine cover.
And it says Land Rover. What does that say?
Minimum.
On goes the engine cover.
Why have I got a new one of these?
It's not new, I cleaned it.
Ah!
Job done there, time to start it up.
Sounds smooth.
We did a good job, Anna.
Good. Yay! It's your run better now.
Right, here we go. This actually could be bargain of the century if we do this, because this is the old wing, which does have the dents in it. But we're hoping that the kit from Urban, which should be on the front as well, covers that dent, and we'll find out in a minute. But let's pop this wing on and then we can start fitting the rest of the body panels.
If we get away with having to replace this wing, then this could be really good, because that saves us having to buy a new one and to paint it as well. Alongside that, if we don't have to repair the dent that's in the front of it, it's a win-win situation.
Yes.
Now we're happy with how the wing lines up, we can bolt it to the front bumper and start adding back in all the trims which we removed in the first place. Then the front grille goes on. There's an electrical plug for the radar sensor which sits behind the grille, which is for the adaptive cruise control. I plug that in, then everything literally just clips into the front and there's a few screws on top holding it in place. Next up, the washer bottle's going back in. There's one plug for a level sensor, one for the washer pump for the windscreen and another washer pump for the headlights. We plug them both in, slide the washer bottle in place, and then there's two bolts which hold it in. After that, it's this lower piece of the wing. You can see previously they put glue on the clips to hold it in. So if it was good enough for them, it's good enough for us. And I got a little trigger happy with the glue, but we want to make sure that it is nice and secure.
Wow, this is never coming off.
We're going to slide it into place, and then we're going to have a bit of tape to hold it down whilst it sets overnight. Job done there.
Here is a wide body Urban kit, which the car already has on. We contacted Urban, we said what's missing out of the kit. They sent us the part that's missing. This front arch, I think it replaces this one. It looks like it clips in to the original clips. I'm just worried about this dent. I don't think we're going to fully cover it. Really should fix the dent, but like, what's the point if that's going over the top of it? Oh.
First, we've got to remove the old trim pieces. And then we're hoping the new trim piece will cover over this dent. Time to see if it will.
Yes. So, we were going to push out that dent. Am I going to push out that dent? Probably no.
The clips which hold the old trim piece, we're going to take off and put them on the new one.
Right, this is what they use. This is actual panel bond.
And this is the panel bond that we got sent with the Urban kit. First, I put on the primer to the wide arch kit. Once I've applied the primer there, I'm going to put a little bit on the wheel arch that we're going to be fitting it to. And afterwards, the panel bond can go in place. And once I'm happy with that, I can begin to fit it.
Action.
And it actually slides in and fits really nice. Again, to wait for the panel bond to set, I'm going to tape it to the arch, and then Hannah's doing the same on the other side. We have no idea why the car had the rear arches, but not the front.
These come with a kit, Urban sent them. I would probably put a bit of glue in them.
Also, the bonnet vents were missing, but we got these from Urban as well. It looks like these might have popped out in the accident, so to make sure that these ones actually stay in, we're popping a bit of glue on the back of them, and then Hannah's going to tape them in place.
Looking good, bonnet vents in, wide arch kit on, last few bits to go on, which is under trays and rear arch lining, and we should be able to clear the fault codes and drive out. Next stop, A-pillar. It's missing an A-pillar trim, so we're just going to whack this bad boy in place. Go. That's on.
Magic.
Yay!
This A-pillar trim come painted gloss black. We just needed to order the bottom trim and get the body shop to match the paint for us. Time for the car to go back in the air, hopefully for the last time, and all the under trays can be refitted back on. There's loads of under trays on this, and a lot of them are for protection. Of course, this is an off-road car, so you don't want any big rocks hitting the underneath of the car and causing any damage.
Right, the last thing that needs to go in is the arch lining, but I just wanted to scan it for faults, and we've got no faults on the car at all. Everything's passed, apart from the ABS. Look, we've got brake hydraulic circuit A leak and brake hydraulic circuit A leak or seal fault. And when you push the brakes, if you listen,
It's pulsating the pedal.
now what I've found, that clicking noise is apparently the system checking to see if there's any leaks. It's going blah, 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 and it's confused. I've later found out when we bled the brakes like the old school way of pushing on the brake pedal and then cracking the nipples, apparently that sends the ABS module into an absolute meltdown. So what we have to do, if we're doing it properly, I've found out that we have to go on to special function and then exhaust routine. So you have to tell the car you're bleeding the brakes, else it thinks there's a leak in the brake system. So if it thinks there's a leak in the front right, it cuts brake power going to the front right so you can use the rest of your brakes. Clever, but also annoying for people like us trying to do it. So if I click OK, so this is what we've got to do. Turn ignition on. Ignition is on. Next step, connect the bleeding device to the ABS reservoir, switch on the bleeding equipment and set the pressure to over 2 bar but below 3 bar. So we've got to connect Mr. Push to the ABS system, which is in that reservoir, which my dad's got there, and we've got to get 2 bar of pressure going through that.
So my dad is pushing Mr. Push, which pumps pressure and brake fluid into the brake reservoir, and we're looking for 2 bars of pressure. At the minute, this fault is causing the ABS light to be on and the traction control light.
Open the bleed screw on the rear left and bleed the brake system out of the rear left wheel by pressing the brake pedal steadily through its full stroke and allow it to return to the rest position.
So basically all we're doing again is re-bleeding the brakes, but with this time with the guide from the diagnostic machine.
Deactivate the bleeding equipment that is connected to the ABS reservoir. Deactivate Mr. Push.
Once we've bled all 4 corners, we can then remove Mr. Push.
When numbers 1 to 10 have been completed, press continue and this will execute a leakage and air monitoring test. Are we ready for leakage and air monitoring test?
We've got to put back on the cap on the brake reservoir, then the car's going to perform a test.
Sealed.
We're hoping once it performs this test, the brake will no longer pulsate and we should have no faults on the dash.
Test successfully complete. It's been completed and there's no need to complete a repair bleed.
So once that was done, naturally I rescanned the fault codes, but they still come back.
Hydraulic circuit leak A, hydraulic circuit leak fault seal. But we just did all the tests, so it doesn't seem to work. It says it doesn't detect leaks, but then when we scan the fault codes, it says it's got a leak.
We then found online that we should disconnect the battery after this. The battery's under the driver's seat, which is what I'm doing now.
Battery's disconnected, then we'll just wait.
Once the battery was disconnected for 2 minutes, we reconnected it. Then we had to do another procedure.
So what the guy did on the video, he pressed down his brake pedal for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Do you want me to start a timer?
Still doing it.
The pedal was clicking and it felt like it was pulsating. But apparently by holding the brake pedal down for 2 minutes, the computer does a thorough check to make sure that the braking system doesn't lose any pressure. And if it doesn't lose any pressure, it says to the computer that it's all good and can go back to normal.
Just to check, I'm gonna go back on the brake. No clicker. Right, then,
Clicker.
then he did ignition on, and he did it with the ignition on. Ignition on. Ready? No clicker. And no ABS light, just battery low light. Oh my god, it could have worked. Why didn't the diagnostic tool say to take the battery off and do this clicky thing? Yes! Look! No ABS light, no traction control light. And we've got ABS, and we've got traction! Yes! That was so dumb. What happened to just bleeding brakes normally? Right, we need a wheel. There is one on the back, so let's use the one on the back to go to our favourite place to go get wheels to finish this build off for Hannah. Let's go.
Whilst I put the arch lining in, Matt and Hannah were getting the spare wheel off the back of the car. And once that's off and the arch lining was in, they can put all the wheels back on. Let's go.
Kevin, you ready to try your new dog car? You like it? Hey! There you go. Let's go then. Off we go. I don't know what your tracking's going to be like. Bye guys! Bye. Off we go! Hannah's got the Urus but wanted something a bit more rugged that we can throw Kevin in and shopping in and everything like that. And this seems like the perfect car.
And so far, so good. Even Kevin's enjoying it. This was a slightly different project to usual, but it was fun to see Hannah take on the challenge, and it really shows that sometimes, even if the damage doesn't look too bad, there still could be a lot of work to do.
Here we go, she made it. Arrived. Feels like a while since we've been to Wheelmania, but of course we've come to get wheels because Hannah's only got 4, you need 5 on the Defender. I've chose them, but I think Hannah is gonna like what I've chose. Let's go in Wheelmania, let's get them fitted, and we should see the final product of the Defender, which literally we rebuilt in like 3 days. It's about 3 days worth of work. Let's go.
Right now, the Defender's got urban wheels on, and it's missing one off the back. I think these look okay, but it doesn't really have our personal touch on it, which is why we've come to Wheelmania to do so. And you can clearly see, they've got plenty of wheels in stock. And I've chose something special for Hannah's Defender.
When you buy wheels from Wheelmania, normally what I would do, I will send a picture to Jordan of the car and the registration, then he'll send me loads of different types of wheels I can get for it. But if you don't like the type of design, you can even design your own wheels. This time, I've chose Vossen wheels, which are the same on like my Lamborghini Murcielago. Vossen wheels were on Port James's GT3 RS. We use Vossen loads of times. Let's go see the Vossen wheels that I've chose from Wheelmania. I think they're good.
These should finish the build off nicely.
I really like them.
Yeah, these look sick.
They're massive.
These are 22-inch Vossen wheels. We've gone for the same size just to keep that bigger tyre and that sort of off-roady look. Now the guys at Wheelmania are fitting the wheels to the Defender, and it's a bit of an added flex of having the wheel on the back as well. Remember, if any of you guys wanted to get some wheels from Wheelmania or wheel refurbishments there, check out the link I've popped in the description box.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Oh, that makes the biggest difference.
That has made a massive difference.
Oh my god, it looks so good. It's finished.
This looks absolutely sick, and in the time that we did it, was good. It was really good. Now we need to tell you guys how much this thing costs to rebuild, and you need to see the full, complete Defender. Let's see it. And this is it. It is complete and done. I think it looks really nice. Are you happy with it?
I'm very happy with it.
Was it harder than you thought?
Yeah, a lot harder. I found a new appreciation for the way that you and Tony work.
And the cost has come in. You bought the car for £39,000 and all the parts cost less than £3,000 to repair it. Yeah, but you do owe me £10,000 labour charge.
Great.
Because call out boys. On top of that, as well, you also got a new registration plate to match the Urus, the HWBT registration plate. So thank you, Car Reg, for that.
So did I make a profit?
Well, if you sell it, you'll make a profit, yeah. But are you going to sell it?
No,
Right.
never.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's rubbing off.
I have 2 cars. How many do you have?
Bit more than 2. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.